What do you value more in terms of your creative journey? Do you value artistry as your identity, or do you value the output that comes from it, or both?
So I often get asked if I recorded a live set after it's over, and most of the time I don't, because the energy in the room is so special, like it needs to be experienced live. I think that allows me to detach from feeling like my artistry is only worthy if I have a body of work to show that's tangible.
What's up, everybody? Welcome to Closer to You, a podcast by Out of Season aimed at exploring how we find alignment through community, creativity, experiences, and connection. We couldn't have started this podcast without the help of Music City Starfactory in San Francisco, where we're currently recording at the podcast studio. We're here to welcome our very first guest. Some of you may know her as Trisha. Many know her as a DJ, going by the name of the Reallionaire. Now, Trisha has DJ'd in SF, Oakland, SJ, and abroad in London, and she's been all around the world, not just as a DJ, but as a foodie under the name of Tasty Cover, and as a Yelp elite and content creator. On top of that, she's also a meditation coach, to name a few. You're a woman of many hats. What was your first creative calling?
Yeah, as a kid, I remember I was dancing, singing, painting, and kind of rotating all of them at once. That definitely felt like a huge part of me and motivated me to want to grow up to be an artist. Definitely music, being in spaces where there's live music, live performances, being a part of those spaces for sure.
How did you feel when you started pursuing those?
Definitely felt fear, the imposter syndrome or the doubt that it wouldn't come to be. I would just have to put the dream back on the shelf.
How did you work through that imposter syndrome?
Feeling like there was a higher purpose for me to continue and see it through, especially when I started realizing like what it would kind of take to get other people in the room. I think a huge part of what I do is channeling. It's being able to be a conduit for art and music and sharing space and doing that no matter what. Not being tied to like an outcome and having faith that it is my calling.
How do you know what you're doing is what you're meant to do?
It fills me with the light or inspiration when I'm in my element, and I can see that having a positive effect around me, and I'm able to elevate the collective consciousness. That's when I know. I was running into my second year of hosting events, and I just remember being on the decks and people were walking in who had never met me before and joining the dance floor, and everybody was grooving, and there was a song I had loved that I had heard play in the backyard of a restaurant on an empty stage, and remember visualizing myself on that stage playing that song. When I played it to that crowd, it was just that full circle moment of like the song being about being in your power and creating that moment of energy.
Oftentimes we think, okay, I want to do this thing and here I am doing it and it feels right. Have there been times where you were doing something you wanted to do and it felt wrong?
Like, all of this has been a learning experience and kind of understanding, like, working around places and people that share a mindset is way more important than doing. Like, I would almost rather step back and opt out than to kind of try to force alignment where it's not naturally there.
How do you know when you're forcing alignment? What does that feel like to you?
I think it is very intuitive. Like, a lot of us can kind of sense from the beginning when, we're being undervalued or underappreciated, trying to step into those places because we want recognition or ego comes in, kind of starts to make things fall apart. And I've seen that happen in so many ways. And I think it's just kind of taught me, like, the opportunities will always come, and to kind of wait for the ones that feel the best. I'm constantly asked kind of what genre do I subscribe to or promote, and I don't ever pick just one, but I do have a sense when the way I describe it is like there's a beat that lives inside of me, and when I hear a song, it has to match that beat, and that's how I'm able to navigate through different genres and spaces, and trusting that as long as I keep following that thread, it'll bring me to the spaces that match.
Yeah. I love that idea of there's a beat inside of you. Yeah. Tell us what that means for you.
There's a lot of music terminology, but when you just have that vibe or it matches like the energy, what I was talking about with collective consciousness, it's like art is an expression of our creativity and creative energy, and being able to use it as a thread to tie people together is its power. Yeah. It's twofold. I don't think I adopt it as my full identity because I am my full self and whole prior to what I create. But at the same time, I believe all of us came to this earth to create, and I have my own unique outlet that I do it through.
Yeah. And how would you define your identity?
Tying back to purpose, like I do have a greater purpose to elevate others' consciousness by elevating my own consciousness. So that ends up materializing and manifesting externally in different ways. And that's why I'm able to kind of navigate so many methods of art or modalities.
I think I really consider myself like a creative. Like I can't separate it from myself, but I'm kind of learning to separate totalizing everything I do as a part of me. Like for a while I was like, yeah, I am a DJ. And lately I don't think I want that to be an inherent part of my identity. What does the creative process look like to you for any of your pursuits?
Yeah. I use the word multidisciplinary a lot, and I think that covers it because you can find ways to integrate all your passions, and at times there may be settings where it makes sense to separate them, and being able to help, it's as simple as my set list help turn someone's day around. When I guide a meditation, someone's headache goes away, like seeing that impact and like knowing that this has the capacity to change people's lives and further my own evolution, like that's when I know it's working.
Yeah. Have you ever pursued anything and then afterwards you're like, this isn't me?
Yeah, I think kind of feeling like the best way to find out if it's for you is to go all in. I'm allowing myself to be the niche rather than picking a niche. And I kind of outgrew like the influencer journey, but realized that I didn't have to stick to one thing that I was doing, and kind of let people like get to know who I am behind my page and how much I love storytelling, and I want to continue doing that and showcasing other people's stories. And I was just creating content and nobody was really calling it that either. So I just kept posting and meeting people and loved that it was bringing me to different spaces and places, but I wanted to set the tone and have more agency on how I created a space that I envision, that I want to be a part of, and motivated me to event produce and kind of wanting to meet more creatives and meet more people that are like-minded.
Do you think everything we do is ourselves, or do you think we sometimes stray from the path? Like, do you see us becoming closer to ourselves as a process or as an end goal or both?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's definitely like the result is in the process, and a huge motivation for me to pursue meditation and yoga is it's a remembrance, and it reminds you of who you are and uncovering who that is before society and everyone around you told you who you should be, creating that opportunity to be a sovereign being.
Tell me a little bit about your journey as a meditation coach.
Yeah, I definitely had been suggested to try meditation since I was a kid, and I always struggled with it because I felt like it was something I needed to master, but I would give up because I wasn't good at it in the beginning. And I think being able to really tap into honing in that skill allowed me to tap into my inner voice and find what resonates, and following intuition and kind of arriving at the avenue that I currently am in all ties back into having a clear mind or regulated nervous system and demonstrating to others that that's possible. I won a scholarship to an online class, and it motivated me to get certified. A big part of our heritage is yoga and teaching people what that word really means and what it means to tap into your spirituality. Yoga means union. A lot of people say it's union of body and soul. It is kind of a way of being and not just a practice. And it's accessible to everyone. Anyone can do it. So I think that's what makes it a superpower.
Yeah. I love that. When it comes to the realm of yoga, what did it look like for you when you first stepped into that?
Yeah, I think it was very isolating because I couldn't find places that incorporated the spirituality into yoga. And when I went to my first retreat in the Bay, it was beautiful. But of course, like these like constant price tags that come with things start pushing people who look like me out of these spaces. And I wanted to be able to do it practice with others no matter what. And I think group meditation is very powerful, and it allows people to bond in a way that we don't always get to do. So that's what motivated me to keep going with it on a personal practice and expose other people to it. And I'm hosting my first class next month.
Now, what do you think it means to bring yourself closer to yourself?
I love this question. I love to travel, and I feel like going to new places that are unfamiliar somehow always bring me back to myself, as paradoxical as it sounds. It shows me that we're all connected, that I have an obsession with universality. Being able to feel at home in any place kind of reminds me that I'm here. We came here to be connected to each other, and it shows up in so many ways, like when you can share a smile with somebody who doesn't speak your language and know that you aren't truly alone. And even when you feel alone, hopefully it brings you back to your faith and what higher reason you feel that you deserve to take up space here.
How do you define alignment? Like, what does alignment mean?
I think it means many things. For me, it's kind of like the music, where it's not always in the same categories, but it shows up when things that maybe you've been ideating on start to play out around you. And it's unpredictable because you don't know the ways in which it's going to show up, but you feel like you need to keep following it. And they call it like the golden thread of intuition. And that can bring you to where you need to be. When we were kind of talking about the journey, people want to discourage each of us from chasing perfection, but it's like perfection becomes the byproduct when you are in alignment.
Following your golden thread of intuition, what's next for you on your journey?
I think being able to continue all the things that I've been doing, DJing, teaching yoga, traveling, and I am on the brink of announcing my first retreat. This has kind of been a journey where I want to be able to give people the experience that I think doesn't exist yet, but bringing it to fruition. Yeah. starting with, teaching my first class in the Bay and bringing people into this space of understanding that we can integrate our love of music and spirituality and togetherness, like, without compartmentalizing it. It's going to be at a restaurant called Amara in Belmont, and I think nourishment is important, so brunch is included, and after our yoga session, I'll take a minute to have brunch, and I will be DJing as well. Contact me on Instagram or TikTok for the invitation link. Yeah.
Awesome. Thank you so much for being here, the Reallionaire. Is there any last words of advice you'd like to tell our viewers?
I'd like to share my life motto: things don't get better for me, I get better for them.
All right. On that note, we appreciate y'all for being here. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, and we'll see you next time.